Hello, my friends. My name is OMG, WTF, LOLF to WBRB. Welcome back to more WWE versus Total Extreme Wrestling, the series where we take the weekly events and shows that the WWE runs and book them in the game to see how well the WWE actually does, or if TEW will be the one company that brings the WWE down to its knees. Today we are booking... Oh, man. I'm so bad at these dumbass dates. We are booking the 28th edition of Monday Night Raw, May 28th, Memorial Day here in America. And should be an interesting episode because there was a women's gauntlet match for the last spot in the women's Money in the Bank qualifier. That honestly, I'll be surprised if it does any good at all because, well, a lot of those matches are like a minute. So, nonetheless, Monday Night Raw opens up with a 39 D- as we pretty much get a cold open or a hype segment, I guess, for the upcoming matches tonight, as we will see the Intercontinental Championship defended as Seth Rollins defends against Jinder Mahal, while also hyping up the Women's Gauntlet. No. I was thinking if it was a gimmick. Because we do have quite a few gimmick changes here and there. As I mentioned on the SmackDown episode, 75 B- to open up the show as we open up with Kurt Angle. Did it start with Kurt Angle? No, it started off with Braun coming out, pretty much leading to Finn Balor. I think actually it started with Finn and then Braun. I don't really remember who came out first, to be honest. This is one of the unfortunate things of recording one of these WWE things a couple days after I've seen Monday Night Raw or any of the shows, because I kind of forget what happens every once in a while. So the opening segment here pretty much goes like this. Braun Strowman and Finn Balor, both in the Money in the Bank, both looking to prove themselves pretty much. And Finn pretty much puts over that he almost beat Braun last week and that he could do it. Kurt goes ahead and makes a match or something like that. Yeah, I should have just read my freestyle title. That would have told me. Strowman comes out. He warns all the Money in the Bank competitors. That leads to Finn Balor coming out, who, says that he almost beat him and all that whatnot. And it leads to a brawl between the two before Kurt Angle, makes a match. So that's what happened. My apologies. Crowd was hot for this, and it gained some heat to the men's Money in the Bank. And our opening match of the night will be our main event from last week, as Braun Strowman takes on Finn Balor with a 64 solid C this time around. Kevin Owens was on commentary for this match as he joined the table just a few seconds before the match began. Great heat and good wrestling. Finn Balor goes over Braun Strowman in 10 minutes 59 seconds when Strowman was disqualified after Kevin Owens ran in and attacked Finn Balor. We also saw Owens distract both Strowman and Balor, because during the match he would get on the mic from the commentary table and kind of hype them up, trying to get the other to weaken the other, pretty much. But Balor gets the shock victory. Nonetheless, even though it was by disqualification, he still gets the victory. Strowman was actually very mad that we put Finn Balor over, so we had to make sure he was strong in this as well. Owens was weak on the announce table. Braun Strowman had a 73 in-ring performance. Finn Balor with a 64. So this match, I believe it did worse than last week's main event match between the two. 75 B- for the post-match attack as Kevin Owens goes after Finn Balor and then tries to go after Braun Strowman, but Strowman ain't having none of that, and Kevin Owens gets these hands as Strowman forces him to retreat from the ring. That gained heat to the Money in the Bank feud as well. Solid 60 C as we get a recap from last week's beatdown from Jinder Mahal onto Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, of course with the steel chair. Interesting enough, Roman Reigns not here tonight, guys. WWE did not use Roman Reigns. 34 E+ for more hype for the women's gauntlet match that'll feature Sasha Banks, Bayley, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, Sarah Logan, Mickie James, and Dana Brooke. Yes. 46 solid D as we get just hyping up the fact that Elias is next. And we have a gimmick change here, I believe. Yeah. We're going to change him from his loner gimmick, which was below average, to an egomaniac, which I'm hoping does good. No, it also does below average. So, Elias is just pretty much in the same spot as he was before, despite cocky being like his best rated thing. But that's whatever. 64 solid C as we get a recap from the opening segment earlier tonight between Finn Balor and Braun Strowman, and then of course that leading to Kevin Owens costing the match and all that. Then we jump backstage to a 65 solid C as we see Kevin Owens trying to leave the arena, pretty much trying to escape Braun Strowman. Doesn't want any of that. But Kurt Angle kind of confused, like, where are you going? You know, you got a match against Bobby Roode tonight. And that, of course, pisses Kevin Owens off, which means he can't leave. So he storms back in while Kurt just kind of smiles to himself. And that confirms that we'll see Owens versus Roode tonight. Lost heat to the Money in the Bank feud. 52 D+ for the Sasha Banks promo, putting over how she's going to win tonight and then go on to be in the Money in the Bank. And you can bank on that. Excuse me. Yes. 55 C- as we get more hype for the Intercontinental Championship match between Jinder Mahal and Seth Rollins. 66 C+, before the match can take place. Elias is in the middle of the ring. He's ready to play a concert, or do his concert, I should say. The crowd is not having it, though. Elias teases that he'll leave. He also, teases that he's not going to leave either until he plays this song and whatnot. But as always, before Elias can even play the song, Seth Rollins' music hits, and out comes the Intercontinental Champion, who walks towards the ring, pretty much just gets in Elias' face and tells him to leave. He leaves. Simple as that. Although that does start a feud between these two. We will see a Rollins-Elias feud. I might change the Seth Rollins Open to say Rollins versus Elias, but we'll see where it goes from there. Elias is getting better at his gimmick. This got the crowd hotter. And as I said, it lost heat to the open feud, though, which is unfortunate, but that's fine. 47 solid D as Sunil Singh comes out and introduces the modern-day Maharaja, Jinder Mahal. And then we don't jump into the match yet because we got to hype up that at Money in the Bank, it'll be the modern-day Maharaja, Jinder Mahal, taking on Roman Reigns. 63 solid C for that. And before we can jump into the Intercontinental Championship match, we also have to have JoJo introduce both Seth Rollins and Jinder Mahal. 49 D+ for that. And then finally, we get into the Intercontinental Championship match between Seth Rollins and Jinder Mahal. 62 solid C rating here. Decent matchup. Jinder goes over Seth Rollins in 12 minutes, 51 seconds by disqualification. We also saw Sunil Singh. That's kind of interesting. I don't know why it didn't have Sunil Singh get Rollins disqualified. It says he ran in the match and attacked Rollins, but nope. Whatever. That's fine, I guess. Okay. So Jinder Mahal technically wins, but he still loses because of disqualification, courtesy of Sunil Singh, which pretty much led to Seth Rollins beating down on Jinder Mahal with a steel chair. So I guess that's why. Never mind. That makes sense. Because if Sunil Singh ran in, it would have been Seth Rollins to win, but it's the opposite way around. That's why. I was kind of confused by that. But it ended with Seth Rollins, getting the steel chair and not resisting his instincts or whatever, his temptations, as he beats down on Jinder with the steel chair. Interesting enough here, Jinder Mahal was visibly tiring towards the end, so we might have to increase Jinder's stamina, because a 12-minute match for Jinder Mahal, I don't know. That's a bit weak. Sunil Singh doing some good work ringside. Jinder Mahal with a 43 in-ring performance. Seth Rollins carrying this match with a 66. Lost heat to the feud as well. Mahal, though, is improving in technical, so good on him there. This leads to a 54 C- as we get the post-match beatdown on both both Jinder Mahal and Sunil Singh, courtesy of the steel chair. Rollins then goes and celebrates. He eventually gets up on top of the announce table and is celebrating with his Intercontinental Championship, but out of nowhere, Elias comes out and smacks Rollins with his guitar, sending Rollins off the announce table and onto the floor below, probably through a table. I don't know if he went through a table or not, but Seth Rollins taken out by Elias. 54 C- for that. Then we come back from a commercial, 53 C-, a recap of the Rollins beatdown on Mahal and Mahal and Sunil, where Elias then beats him down as well with his guitar. I've got hiccups all of a sudden out of nowhere, so I'm trying to fight these as I talk. 75 B minus as Seth Rollins is on the stretcher, but he asks them for a minute as he tries to get up. Paramedics and referees keep telling him, Seth, you don't got to prove anything. But Seth feels like he does need to prove anything because he gets off the stretcher and walks away on his own feet with a little bit of help from maybe like Adam Pearce and Jamie Noble. But Seth Rollins, he ain't going out like that. 62 solid C rating here. This was supposed to be a match, but it kind of just became an angle, I guess. Nia Jax coming down for her match when she's interrupted by the music of Ronda Rousey, who joins commentary for this matchup. That's when Nia Jax proceeds to mock Ronda Rousey on the mic, pretty much saying how, Ronda can't beat someone as big as her, and then she has Michelle Webb, who is being played by a young lady known as Chastity Taylor. She has her put her in an arm bar, which she then goes ahead and power bombs her out of it before showing Ronda that her leg can take out a woman, but then she also does a front flip onto Michelle Webb before demanding Ronda come down here and help Michelle off the mat, pretty much. Ronda comes down and goes to oblige. They kind of get in each other's face. Nia laughs at her and then walks away while Ronda just looks confused. So Nia Jax kind of hitting at a heel turn here, which is kind of interesting as well because she just got done being after recently in real life having a major baby turn, face turn against Alexa Bliss, where she was being portrayed as the bully against Alexa Bliss. Like Alexa Bliss would try to say that Nia's the bully despite Alexa being the bully. But Nia clearly was the bully here tonight. Like, Michelle Webb is this poor local talent that, honestly, we should all know by now, including the wrestlers, really don't have a chance. And Nia just bullies her just to get in Ronda Rousey's head. Like, are they turning Nia heel, or is this just wasn't a really great segment, in my opinion, for Nia. It made her look like everything Alexa Bliss said she was, pretty much, by throwing her weight around and whatnot, but whatever. Nia underperformed. Her turn didn't go well because everyone remembers that, dude, she just turned. And it did gain heat to the Ronda Rousey-Nia Jax feud, so. Michelle Webb also developing better performance, so she made the best of her appearance. We are not turning Nia just yet, because honestly, who knows? Maybe they aren't turning her. I just thought that was an interesting segment. 33 E+ rating as we get more hype for the Women's Gauntlet match here tonight, featuring Sasha Banks, Bayley, Mickie James, Ruby Riott, and the entire Riott squad alongside Dana Brooke now. Nope, didn't press the button. I thought I did. That's how I should know, though, because Sasha's gimmick thing would pop up. E28 rating for Dana Brooke's promo on the Money in the Bank as she crunches the numbers to pretty much figure out her odds of winning. This will go ahead and change her gimmick from an old school face, which was awful, to an executive consultant, which is kind of what she is. And this got a below average. I mean, it's better than awful. Still not that great, though. 57 C- rating here for a random tag team match. Decent wrestling, not much Dwayne Heat. The tag team champions, the leader of worlds, Matt and Bray Wyatt, defeat the Ascension in 5 minutes, 44 seconds after Matt Hardy defeats Victor with the kiss of deletion. Connor seemed off his game. Potential heel turn hinted at for Victor. The Ascension, maybe not, to be honest. I didn't really feel like they were teasing at a heel turn here tonight, but they are just kind of nowhere right now, so maybe a heel turn could happen out of nowhere. Bray Wyatt carried the match with a 63, Matt Hardy with a 55, Connor with the weakest in-ring performance with a 34. He was off his game, remember that. Victor with a 36. Also, Victor improving in both Rumble and technical skills, so good on you, Vic. Then we jump to a backstage segment, which gets a 55 C- as the B Team joins Kurt Angle in his office, and they ask him for a title shot. Kurt kind of taken aback, like, you guys, yeah, you've won, but you've beaten the same team twice. How would the other teams feel if I just had you guys jump in line, for an opportunity? And then they pretty much, for some reason translate that as, hey, we need to throw a barbecue for all the tag team tonights, so they'll let us jump in line and challenge for the tag titles. And Kurt's like, I did not say that, but they do it anyway. So 55 C- for that, and gained heat for the leaders of the world in B Team feud. And we are going to change the gimmicks. They are no longer lackeys, but they are very annoying. So let's go ahead and change the gimmicks for both Bo and Curtis. Sucks for Bo because he got a very good rating on his lackey gimmick, but now he's just average as annoying. Curtis Axel also very good on his lackey gimmick. Below average for his annoying gimmick. So it's unfortunate for both of them, but that's the real life gimmick for them right now. They're just kind of playing an annoying duo. 49D plus as we get hype up for our next upcoming match between Bobby Roode and Kevin Owens. And this match actually made me start thinking, as we made me start thinking about Owens and Roode, but I'll jump into that when we get to the actual match. Before we get to the match, though, we get a Riot Squad promo on the Money in the Bank qualifier match later on tonight, putting over how they got the numbers and how they're going to win pretty much. So the match itself gets a 68 C+. So far, I believe that's our best match of the night. Decent matchup here. Kevin Owens going over Bobby Roode in 7 minutes 42 seconds with the fast roll-up. So here's this thing that kind of surprised me about Bobby Roode. They had him lose to Elias, I think it was last week, which shocked me because Bobby's the one in the Money in the Bank ladder match, whereas Elias isn't. And then they have Bobby Roode lose again, this time to Kevin Owens, and started making me realize Bobby Roode is losing a lot. It's like, I think since coming to Monday Night Raw, he's won maybe 1-2 matches. So they kind of have him on a losing streak. And next week, I believe it's supposed to be him versus Braun Strowman, which I can't see him beating Braun Strowman, but makes me wonder if this is going to lead to an eventual like turn for Bobby Roode or something. But anyway, the thing that I was talking about before that I also find interesting or found interesting about this Bobby Roode Kevin Owens match is I think this is the first time Bobby Roode and Kevin Owens have ever had a match with each other. I could be wrong. I don't know much about their independent careers and if they ever met each other outside of ROH or TNA. But to my knowledge, Bobby Roode has never wrestled for Ring of Honor. Kevin Owens has never wrestled for TNA. There's never been an opportunity for these two to fight each other. And Bobby Roode, if I'm correct here, I believe Bobby Roode was exclusive to TNA for many, many years too. I don't believe he had like the deal that EC3 and all these other people had, where they can go out to different independent companies and wrestle there, because TNA was kind of, I believe, running low on money at that moment. Whereas when Bobby Roode was one of their stars, that was at the peak of their popularity, and I'm pretty sure Bobby Roode signed an exclusive contract. I don't know if he traveled far out of TNA, so I think this could be the first time Bobby Roode and Kevin Owens ever fought each other. So interesting how no one brought that up in there. So like I said, I could be wrong, but I think so. Nonetheless, Bobby Roode with a 55 in-ring performance. Kevin Owens with a 70. No worker improvements to comment on. 75 B- as Braun Strowman gets into the ring and he goes right after Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens, of course, he tries to retreat, but it's not happening. So Braun just beats down on Kevin Owens. I believe he hits him with like 2 power slams. Bobby Roode is just playing cheerleader in the background. He's up on the turnbuckle, pretty much chanting for Braun Strowman. This ends up to be his mistake, because Braun grabs Bobby by the throat and chokeslams him off the top turnbuckle before posing for the crowd. So Braun Strowman stands tall over both Owens and Bobby Roode. 75 B- for that, and it gained heat to the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Also probably the reasoning why Strowman will take on Bobby Roode next week. 63 solid C as we get hyped for Sami Zayn's public apology, which is next. 65 solid C once again, unless that was a 63, I don't remember. It's just happened. 65 solid C as Sami Zayn comes out for his public apology, mentions how it really wasn't well received on social media, which is true. He also brings up the fact that that was not Bobby Lashley's sisters. Those were men, but he has spoken to Lashley's sisters, and all that was a true story. And just, playing a weaselly, cowardly heel. Sami Zayn's actually really good at that role, which leads to Bobby Lashley, of course, coming out. Lashley puts over that, Sami did not have any contact with his sisters whatsoever, and everything that Sami said was false. But also puts over the fact that, Sami, you You like to talk a big game, but can you back it up? And he issues the challenge for Money in the Bank. Sammy reluctantly takes it and then puts over the fact that he is going to haluva kick Bobby Lashley's head off at Money in the Bank while smiling. And then Lashley uses his superior strength to kind of, I guess, use the pressure points or whatever you would call it in Sami Zayn's hand. Like if you ever shook someone's hand and they squeeze really hard, like brings you to your knees. That's what he did to Sami Zayn, pretty much, just showing off his superior strength over Sami. So that confirms that we will see these two at Money in the Bank, and it gained heat to the feud. It was an all right segment, to be honest. They did what they had to do to make up for that shoddy performance last week, but they're still failing Bobby Lashley, and a lot of people feel that way. 100 A star for our pointless commercial break featuring John Cena. Thank you, John. Big break, John, everybody. 36 D- rating here, as once again the women's gauntlet match is hyped, featuring Sasha Banks, Bayley, Mickie James, the Riot Squad, and Dana Brooke. Nope. 52 D+ as we get a promo for Mickie James putting over, just like every other female has done tonight, the Money in the Bank and how she's going to win. Alexa Bliss helped James during this segment, so that's my bad. My bad, guys. Alexa Bliss should not have been managing Mickie James here tonight, so I didn't think about that. So she'll be out there in the match too, which is unfortunate. 25 solid C as we get some hype for 205 Live, to my surprise, as Monday Night Raw uses this time to hype up the Cruiserweight Championship match that will take place this week on 205 Live between champion Alexander and challenger Buddy Murphy. 50 D+ rating here as we go to a decent matchup. Drew McIntyre going over Chad Gable in 6 minutes, 53 seconds with the Claymore kick. Dolph Ziggler doing some good work ringside. Drew and Chad Gable have great chemistry, so that's awesome. Drew McIntyre with a 54, while Chad Gable turns those numbers around and has a 45, so not too bad. But it did lose heat to the Ziggler, McIntyre, and Chad Gable feud, which I added Chad Gable to it because it seems like that's the direction they're going with. Who knows? Maybe Jason Jordan will return and we'll have a reunion of the American Alpha? Yeah, American Alpha. For some reason, I wasn't sure if it was Alpha Americans or American Alpha. Anyway, we're kind of changing Drew McIntyre's gimmick. He has a below average on his realistic Man on a Mission. He's much better rated as a brute, so I'm going to change his Man on a Mission gimmick from realistic to his Man on a Mission gimmick to a brute. So hopefully this helps him out a little better, which it does. Hell yeah. Every other gimmick here tonight has not gone over well, but this below average gimmick just turned to a great gimmick. There you go, Drew. You're welcome. No worker improvements, though. 37 D- as we get some hype up for the fact that the B-Team Memorial Barbecue is next. We jump into the Memorial... No, we don't. We get hype up for the 53 C- as we hype up the Money in the Bank match between Bobby Lashley and Sami Zayn that we just got confirmed tonight. And then we jump into the B-Team Memorial Barbecue, which gets a 46 solid D rating here. There was a lot more teams featured in this segment that we actually have featured. Apollo Crews was obviously there because, he's a part of Titus Worldwide. The Revival were there. The Ascension were there. Breezango were there. Oh, I feel like there was one other team that I'm forgetting. Nonetheless, you had Slater and Rhino there as well. Mostly everybody here are rated because that they had a featured part in the segment, whereas both Titus and Heath talked on the mic. Rhino was kind of like the sacrificial lamb towards the end. Also, Bray and Matt are being featured in this as well because it's kind of revolving around them. They're trying to get a title shot. So nonetheless, the B team's out here. They put over how they have the baked beans, the bologna sandwiches, the bow dogs, stuff like that. And everyone's having a grand old time, and then they're like, well, now that you guys are, full and all that, we're just going to leave. Thank you guys for the opportunity for the tag team titles. And that's when Titus O'Neil was like, whoa, what do you mean titles? You ain't getting a title shot. And Heath Slater, is like, he agrees with him, like, yeah, what have you done, Titus? But I will agree with you on something. These guys ain't getting a title shot. And it leads to a big old food fight between everybody. I think, honestly, I forget who, but somebody just poured all those baked beans over Bo Dallas. And it leads to a brawl, which leads to Rhino being the only one in the ring. The fans start chanting for Rhino, and Rhino kind of teases that he might do a dive outside, but he starts just going after all the food and eating it, which leads to Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel laying him out in the middle of the ring before walking off. So there you have it. A very random segment here tonight, but it was okay. It didn't gain any heat or lose any heat for this storyline, so that's good. O'Neal not suited to his gimmick. I think we are fixing that now. He's going to be a coach, because why not? His below-average sports agent gimmick not working. His coach gimmick, too far. Got a rating of awful. Lovely. Titus O'Neil's improving in acting. Maybe we'll get that dumb, not suited to the gimmick thing, though. He can always improve later, I believe. 37 D- as, again, the women's gauntlet match is hyped. We know. 55 C- as we get hype up for next week's matches, as we will see Finn Balor take on Kevin Owens, Braun Strowman take on Bobby Roode, and Nia Jax take on Natalya. Natalya, of course, the friend of Ronda Rousey, so that's why that's happening. Now, are we jumping into the gauntlet match finally? No, we're not jumping into the gauntlet match. We have to go to a 56 C- rated backstage angle, as the B team back in Kurt Angle's office once again are frustrated over what just happened, and they demand a title shot from Kurt Angle, and Kurt tells them, look, next week, I'm going to give you guys a shot. You're going to take, I don't even remember, I think he said you're going to take on like 2 teams or whatnot, and whoever wins faces, the leaders of worlds at Money in the Bank. So there you have that. 39 D- as we get hype for the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match featuring the people who have qualified so far, that being Naomi, Charlotte Flair, Ember Moon, Alexa Bliss, Natalya, Becky Lynch, and Lana. And before the gauntlet match begins, Kathy Kelly interviews Bayley, which gets a 47 solid D. Bayley, the only woman who didn't get a little pre-promo before the match, so she gets her little pre-promo right here in front of the audience. And she puts over, how Sasha can, believe all she wants, Dana can crunch all the numbers, whatnot, because she promises that she's going into Money in the Bank. And oh boy, here's the gauntlet match, everybody. It'll be interesting, I should say the least. All right, wow, okay, this actually didn't do super bad. I mean, it's certainly nothing to write home about, but I was thinking way worse for a match that didn't even go a minute. 48 D+ rating in an extremely short matchup here. Bayley goes over Liv Morgan in 52 seconds, more like 10 seconds, with the belly-to-belly suplex. Liv Morgan was really off her game. Sarah Logan doing some good work ringside. We already know about the coach and Corey Graves' chemistry together. Bayley with an in-ring performance of a 48. Liv Morgan with a 32. We then jump into our next match of the gauntlet match. 47 solid D. Another extremely short matchup. Bayley goes over Sarah Logan this time in 1 minute, 7 seconds with the roll-up. Nothing too special here. That might actually be pretty accurate because Sarah did last a little longer than Liv Morgan did. A lot longer, I should say. Bayley with a 48 in-ring performance. Sarah Logan with a 39 in-ring performance. And then finally, or not finally, I guess, but because this is only the third person in this gauntlet match, but it's the final Riot Squad member. 48 D+ before Ruby Riott comes out as Sarah Logan and Liv Morgan beat down on Bayley. Ruby Riott then comes out for her matchup with Bayley. 48 D+ rating here. Extremely short match once again. Ruby Riott goes over Bayley in 4 minutes, 54 seconds with the Heidi Ho. I think she actually hit the Riot kick, so I might have to look at Ruby's moveset and fix it for her. Ruby was really off her game. That's unfortunate. It's going to be unfortunate because I think that's going to affect the rest of the night. Liv Morgan had some good work ringside. Bayley with a 49 in-ring performance. Ruby Riott with a 34. We then jump to a 33 E+ rated segment here, and about that didn't have much in heat and terrible wrestling. Ruby Riott goes over Dana Brooke in 31 seconds with the Riot kick, or whatever you call it, not the Heidi Ho. Once again, Liv doing some good work ringside, even though Absolution should not have been here, to be honest, but that's fine. Did cool the crowd. Ruby Riott with an in-ring performance of a 37. Dana Brooke with a 30. Then we jump to Mickie James as she comes out next for this gauntlet match. 38D-. Poor matchup here. Ruby Riott going over Mickie James in 6 minutes, 15 seconds with a handful of tights, apparently. She did cheat. I know that much. I don't know if she had a handful of tights, but it was like a quick roll-up or something. Both Morgan and Bliss doing good work ringside despite not really supposed to be there. That's fine. Did cool the crowd as well again. Ruby Riott with an in-ring performance of a 37. Mickie James with a 39. And then finally, our main event of the night and the actual Women's Money in the Bank qualifier match, because this is the one that's going to determine who's going to be there. Main event of the night gets a 48D+. Whew, that's not a good main event. In a poor matchup, Sasha Banks goes over Ruby Riott in 7 minutes, 40 seconds with the Banks statement, making her tap out. Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan tried to get involved and distract Sasha, but it did not work. Sasha still able to pull out the victory tonight, and she will be the final competitor in the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Ruby Riott with a 35 in-ring performance, Sasha Banks with a 51, and it gained heat to the Women's Money in the Bank feud, and that's just Sasha's turn. So we end off the show to get what? 72B-. That's okay. Nothing too bad. I mean, still don't understand how. So it really makes me feel like the cult really affects us, but nonetheless, 72B- is what we got. I would expect more of a solid C, maybe in a C+, but I'm not going to argue. Interesting here, though. I guess the cult thing might not be negatively affecting us anymore, so maybe we can increase popularity. I don't know if you can lose popularity if you dropped recently. I mean, maybe. I figured so. But I think there's supposed to be a cooldown period between to where you don't lose popularity, but you also don't gain popularity. But might be over. I could be completely wrong there, but we did lose popularity in 23 regions, so that's no good. All right, though. Well, that's going to be the end of this food. Sorry, I read my friend's message. Apparently, he's getting Chinese food. That's going to be the end of this episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, do me a favor. Leave me a comment, like, and subscribe if you have not already. And as always, my name has been OMG, WTF, LOL, FTW, BRB. And, if you guys, like I said, if you guys enjoyed, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you share, comment. Definitely share the video if you have someone out there you feel who would enjoy my content. Make sure to share the video with them. And as always, I've got some pals of my own. If you want to check them out, you're more than welcome to. You can go down in the description below. Check out my boys, such as Zach, who's doing his thing on Twitch right now. In fact, as of recording this video, I believe he's playing Overwatch. Got my boy Senor Conqueso. My other boys, you got my boy Albert, which I'll be honest, I forget the name of his YouTube channel right now. I think it's like Poppy Mandingo, but that could be like his Facebook name too. He goes by a bunch of weird names. You got my, Raging Yoshi, of course, down there, sticking with the Let's Play. Started a new one up. I can't pronounce the name of the game, but I highly recommend you guys all check it out. And that's about it. Next time I see you guys will be for 205 Live / SmackDown. I have been working on the Invasion episode of Monday Night Raw, but that should be out here shortly as well. Not today, most likely tomorrow, but I'm not promising anything. I'll see you guys for 205 Live for the Cruiserweight Championship match and whatnot. And you all have yourselves a good day.